Welcome to another episode of A Servant's Heart podcast, where you will hear about women loving others through service, fun times, helping others, and opportunities to join us ladies of the Statesville Women's Club to also be a servant with heart.
Well, welcome back to another episode of A Servant's Heart, Statesville Women's Club, and today we're changing it up just a little bit. We're going to start out with Federation Focus, and Dana White here is going to be talking about the National Day of Service coming up September 30th.
And this is a major undertaking by the General Federation of Women's Clubs. Many of you hopefully remember us talking with Kim Fulcher, who was the General Federation of North Carolina's president. Well, there's also a General Federation of Women's Clubs, and they are doing a National Day of Service. And what that is a united front of all of the organizations in the General Federation of Women's Clubs internationally. We actually had a affiliate from an international organization join up this past week. So it's a really exciting opportunity because GFWC, as we like to abbreviate it, is known for being united in volunteer service, community service.
So, Dana, why the National Day of Service?
The National Day of Service is an opportunity for GFWC all over the world to come together in community service around a common theme.
Great.
And this year is the first National Day of Service, and it gives the opportunity for local clubs to highlight things that they may already be doing.
That's awesome.
Around the theme.
Okay. And so do you know why they chose food insecurity as a focus for the first National Day of Service?
Actually, I do. The reason that they chose the national food insecurity issue is because that is a problem worldwide. And there are lots of clubs that do projects related to food insecurity, and the statistics are overwhelming. I looked up. One of the statistics is that 1 in 4 households will experience at some time food insecurity.
That's really frightening, honestly, because you're talking about 25%. And is this a statistic for the United States? Do you know?
This particular statistic is a United States statistics.
Right.
Thank you for bringing that up.
Wow. Well, we know that we've had food insecurities in our public schools for quite some time, as they've had the free lunch program, and then they start adding breakfast for the children, and then in comes the backpack programs that allow the kids to go home with food
for the weekend.
Right.
Yes, and one of the other goals of the National Day of Service, focusing on hunger, is to bring awareness.
Right.
And to bring public awareness
and that's
to
important.
The issues of hunger.
Okay. So we have Tommy Simmons, who's the executive director for YOKEFELLOW, joining us today. And you know what? I'm really excited because for the National Day of Service, what the Statesville Women's Club is doing, Tommy, is we're partnering with you. And on Taking Out Hunger Day. And I have my prop here. So you can't see this probably very well, but it's Taking Out Hunger. And we came up with this idea, well, I did, and shot it kind of by Dana, and I suggested maybe YOKEFELLOW, and she says, "Oh, I know a guy." I love that. I know a guy.
Absolutely.
And so it's good to meet the guy.
It's great to be here. Thank you.
And tell us a little bit about YOKEFELLOW Ministries, Tommy. How many people do y'all serve annually and that sort of thing?
Typically, we're up to about 12,000 plus a year. As far as serving food to families, that also includes people we help with utility assistance, rent assistance, give them vouchers in our thrift store to get clothes, get kitchenware, just any household needs they might, would be in need of. So.
Right. Wow. So I guess the biggest question I had was, how do people find out about YOKEFELLOW Ministries?
YOKEFELLOW has been around over 50 years. So most people can find out about us through word of mouth. 211's a great source through United Way.
Yes.
I promote it every time I speak. I can't say enough about calling 211 if you're in need of anything. Gets you someone in the state of North Carolina to advise you where you can get the help you need in your area. When I called it myself, because I just didn't like giving it out without studying it, I got a live person on the phone, and they walked me right through where the food banks were close to me. So that was great.
Well, okay, so I didn't know about 211, and I wonder how many other people don't know about 211.
Just call 211 from your cell phone.
Wow.
Or NC 211 online.
Excuse me. So what is your biggest or most frequently used service?
The food pantry.
Is it?
For sure, yes. Yes, out of the 12,000 that I mentioned, the majority of those are through the food pantry.
Right.
We allow people to come every 14 days. We give out somewhere between 35 and 50 pounds of food on a visit, which will include 20 plus pounds of fresh produce, 6 to 10 pounds of meat, and then your normal canned goods you associate with the food pantries.
And you're just serving what area?
Iredell County. We are typically right in the South Statesville area is where we operate. We do mobile food pantries on the western part of the county and the eastern part of the county.
Oh, nice.
So we're reaching out to people who have, limited transportation.
Okay. And it's a Christian-based ministry?
Yes, it is. It was started by the local churches, and we have stuck to that 100%.
I feel like that's loving your neighbor at its highest level. And that's so important because, we're all the same. We all put our shoes on the same way, our pants on the same way, and we all at a certain time have shortfalls in our life.
And you never know when you might be there again.
That's exactly right.
And it's nice to know that there's a service like that to reach out to. So I saw on your website that you all take just any kind of donation. So you're recycling fibers and boots and shoes, and you get paid by the pound?
Absolutely. We have a trailer in the back of our store that we put recycled clothing, recycled shoes, anything we cannot sell in the thrift store can be put in to the trailer.
That's huge. Okay, so y'all do not throw away those things that you think aren't good enough for the Goodwill or the Salvation Army or YOKEFELLOW. Don't do it. Take it over, put it in a bag, right?
That's right.
And take it over to YOKEFELLOW Ministries, because good grief, it shouldn't be thrown away. It should be recycled.
It definitely saves our landfills.
Right. And then also the added bonus is you get paid for it.
For sure.
That's
Wow.
awesome.
I had no idea. That is really exciting. So you touched on some of the services that you offer. So can you kind of give me a rundown then?
Absolutely. Right now we're doing utility help, for people.
Nice.
We have people coming in saying, my power's going to be turned off at the end of the week. Can you help? We'll get in there.
Wow.
We'll make a pledge to the city of Statesville or Duke Power, and we can get that, taken care of for them. And then we also try to pay a month's worth of utilities for them, and just get the monkey off their back, so
That's
to say.
huge, especially with it being so hot.
Yes,
You know,
absolutely.
miserable, or conversely,
And when
in the wintertime when it's so cold
Right.
and it becomes,
People are in
dangerous.
crisis situations.
Yeah.
They want
gosh.
answers, and
Right.
that's what we try to give them, answers. We also do rent payments. We can't help everybody that's $1,200 a month rent,
Right.
but we can throw $200 to $400 sometimes at their
Okay.
rent, and just get the landlord to give them another 30 days
Right.
to get their ducks in a row and get a plan to how they're going to keep themselves in their home. But the biggest thing is, if you use the food pantry, you can save yourself a couple $100 a month in groceries alone. So that to us, we try to push people, come use the food pantry. Food's the easiest thing to get.
Right.
We did a study. There were over like 24 food pantries just within a 15-minute drive of our location. Food's not hard to get, but you got to get out and find it. So
Right.
One of the things that they've been talking about, particularly in the Free News and the RNL, is that some of the food pantries are having to shutter their doors for a short period because they're running out of food.
I saw that recently.
I think it was Coast closed for a couple of days.
Yeah, that's what I saw.
right.
And the Salvation Army was on the verge of having to close. So it's wonderful, everybody, to hear all of the wonderful experiences and things that they can get at YOKEFELLOW.
Absolutely.
And you guys are there to help them.
And I've delivered food to both of those in the past
Have
week.
you?
Yes.
That's awesome.
Absolutely.
Wow. So, you know what jumps in my head is you guys are really standing in that gap.
That's what I wanted to do.
And you're the bridge that keeps people from falling in the pit of hopelessness and
And
helplessness
homeless.
Right.
and homelessness.
Which ties very well into the fundraiser that we will be talking about later this morning. Our theme is bridging the gap for homelessness. And you guys are part of that bridge.
Right. Standing in that gap. So now, how do people get in contact with YOKEFELLOW Ministries? Do they just come down, or?
We love for them just to show up at our door.
Right.
Our pantry hours they're all over the place, but I tell people, you come between 9 o'clock and 3 o'clock Monday through Friday, someone will be there, and we can get you pointed in the right direction to get what you need. So our pantry hours are Tuesday, Wednesday, 11:30 to 2:30. Thursday, we do 2:30 to 4 for more of the working crowd. And then Friday, we're in the morning from 9:30 to 12:30. So when I say it's all over the place, it really is. But we're trying to cater to everyone's schedule
Right.
the best that we can.
And I have 1380 Shelton Avenue. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
And give you a phone number, too. You can always call 704
Okay.
872 7677. That's the Helping Center. Someone will answer the phone, or they'll call you back immediately if you have to leave a message.
So back to Takeout Hunger Day, we're definitely excited about that. That is for the 30th of September. And then, there you go. We're going to go over to the slide. All right. Maybe. There it is. Wrong one. So Takeout Hunger Day. So the idea is we're going to stage a feeding station, basically, and we're going to have takeout boxes, and they're going to have hamburgers, hot dogs, you said we're going to have a little music, maybe a DJ or something. It's going to be a festive kind
Yes,
of
it's going to be a great
fun,
environment.
right?
Yes.
And people can bring their kids and their dogs, whatever. Just bring everybody, come, and we're gonna have hamburgers, hot dogs, and everything in a plate. We're gonna have them pre-made, or a group of people, putting them together.
Right.
And I've got one more slide. You can join us. You can be part of the kindness crew, and we'll get you a T-shirt. You can go to our web address, statesvillewomensclub.org, and hit our contact and just say, I want to help. So we're planning right now 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., and that's serving, obviously. If you're going to volunteer, though, you're going to need to be there earlier. And we definitely are looking for people to show up, maybe to burn some burgers and fry some hot dogs.
That's right. I can show them how.
Yeah, that'd be great. And the other thing, Tommy, is I really want to involve other community businesses, because, it's, when you're a small organization such as Statesville Women's Club, our resources are small, but I already see the power of partnering with another community entity such as YOKEFELLOW Ministries, and how much we can really make a change. Wow, and the impact that we can make. So we're going to involve the community, and I'm going to tell you right now, if you're out there in the community and you want to make a financial donation to this, because we're planning on feeding, how many people do you think we should be prepared for?
I would be prepared for 200 to 300 people.
Okay, 200 or 300 people. So we need hamburger and hot dog buns. We need takeout boxes. We need silverware sets. We need
Ground beef.
Right. We need ground beef. We need hot dogs. We need maybe a cookie. Hey, Girl Scouts, Girl Scout troops, get out there and make us some cookies. That'd be great.
Great community service project.
That's right, Boy Scouts, come on over and help us assemble boxes. Just everybody in, and I think it's going to come together pretty seamlessly.
It's going to be wonderful.
I think this is going to be one of the best projects we do all year.
I think so, and it's going to be
agree
fun.
with that. Absolutely.
Because,
that's the biggest thing. We're going to have fun.
Yeah, because in my life, when you serve someone else, you think you're doing them good, but in the end,
You get it.
I get so much more back when I'm loving on other people, And
that is definitely your thing. You are a service-minded
I do.
gal.
I love to help others.
That's
so.
great.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming, Tommy.
Thank you for having me.
It's been really great learning about YOKEFELLOW Ministries and 211, y'all. Wow.
Yes. It's big. It's more help than you think you'll get.
That's really great. Okay. Well, thanks for coming, and we'll see you
Thank
very
you.
soon
Looking
on
forward
our
to the 30th
takeout.
already. That's
on
right.
our takeout hunger day. All right.
That's right.
All right. Thanks. Well, our focus for the Women Making a Difference segment today is anatomy of a fundraiser. And Dana, I'm going to let you jump in and talk about that, because the only way we can make a difference as the Women's Club is fundraising. Sometimes, sometimes it's boots on the ground, and using our hands and our feet. But in order to do that, we have to fund things. And so I thought it would be really interesting. And don't you have a little bit of a background in some sort of fundraiser, or help me with that?
Well, I'll give just a quick history of my experience in fundraising. I have worked for the National Kidney Foundation for a couple of years as a special events planner.
Oh.
I volunteered for 10 years for the March of Dimes on one of their events. And then when I joined the Women's Club, one of the first things that I did was start a fundraiser
Oh.
for my CSP.
Yeah.
Which, for those of you that don't know what a CSP is, that is a community service program, which is an international concept where you categorize your project, basically.
Right.
And I was the art CSP chair.
Okay.
And so we did a fundraiser for 3 years and gave out 3 scholarships to art students at Mitchell.
Oh.
And so that was our big project.
Okay.
So I do have a little bit of a background in fundraising.
Yeah. So obviously, many organizations find themselves fundraising these days, and the Women's Club is no different. And as we look at Women Making a Difference this week, let's kind of break down the anatomy of a fundraiser and what does it take?
It takes a lot of planning. That is key, planning and organizing. And let's think about this. There are so many different types of fundraisers.
Right.
Galas, parties, auctions, raffles. We're in the middle of a big capital campaign.
Yes, we are. For the grand old lady.
For our grand old lady that we love dearly. Events, grant writing, sponsorship. I could just keep going on and on and on and on and on. But we had to do an anatomy of a fundraiser, funnel it down
Okay.
to one type of event or fundraiser.
Right.
And so I thought it would be easiest to start with event planning.
Yes.
That's where my background is. That's where my strengths are.
Right.
So that's where I thought we'd start.
Thank goodness, because we have Taste of Iredell coming up. But yeah, so where or how do you start to plan an event? How do you get it going?
That is probably the most challenging part of fundraising. Because you have so many ideas in your head, and you have to break them down, and you have to brainstorm, basically. But before you can brainstorm, you have to get the backing of your organization that they are committed to doing a fundraiser, that they are committed to standing by and following through and getting things done.
And supporting you.
And supporting you.
Yeah. So basically, you've got to sell the event, right?
Before you sell the event.
Right. Well, but what I'm saying is,
I know you sell
to
it
the
to your membership.
You're going to have to say, you guys, this is the event, and it's so great, and you convince them that it's so great and that it's going to accomplish so many good things that they get excited too, right?
Yes. Yes, that's what I meant when I said you have to sell the event before you sell the event.
Yeah.
So you have to sell it to some groups of people.
Right.
Those groups of people include your board, because if your board's not on board, pardon the pun, then your fundraiser's not going to be successful.
Yeah.
You have to sell it to your membership, and then hopefully you can sell it to what are called your stakeholders. And that term some people may not be familiar with, but a stakeholder is just basically your major supporters.
Okay.
They're people that support you generally year after year after year. And so that's the beginning. And then becomes the next step, which is the biggie, which is organization and brainstorming.
Right.
Those two kind of go together.
Right. So I think that, Dana, you're kind of a visionary.
I like to think of that.
Because without the vision, that's where you start. It's the little thing that starts growing in your brain, and then after a while, it just takes over and becomes like a
and then it gets this big, and everybody goes, "Okay, Dana, bring it in.
Bring it in, Dana.
Bring it in a little bit more."
So the next step, like for this would be what, like marketing? Like, is it like to do something like what we're doing today on the podcast? Or?
That would be part of the next step, but in your organizing, that's where you break it down step by step.
Okay, gotcha.
So after you brainstorm and you decide on what your project is, then you have to sit down you have to have a committee.
No, committees.
Committee.
But they are important.
They are very important because without a committee, then you're just going to have people running everywhere doing all kinds of crazy things, and it's not going to get accomplished successfully.
Yeah, otherwise you've got chaos.
Chaos, yes.
Okay.
And it's not even organized chaos.
Right.
It's just chaos.
Right.
Um,
So then after that, you've got your committee meetings, and they're going to kind of go over their segment of the event, and then they take charge of that, and then maybe they have little groups of people that help them, right?
Right.
And then they figure out all the minuscule details for that, because I'm involved in the kitchen. So that's what I'm going to be doing for the Taste of Iredale. And then follow through, right? You
follow through. That is another ultra important aspect, because like my job is sponsorship. That's what I always do.
It's your gift.
It is my gift.
It is.
You could say it's my curse, but it's really a gift.
But
too.
you're good at it.
I love it. And so for me, follow through is sending emails, sending letters, making phone calls, and then making sure the checks come in, getting the checks to the treasurer and all those little details.
Right.
And so that's where your committee comes in, because like you're strong in detail. Well, you're a visionary too, but you're also strong in details. I think.
Okay.
And so
She doesn't know.
so you put together all those little things. Like I've learned over the years all the steps that I have to go through to do my sponsorship. But someone who is new at a task may want to sit down and write out or type out, whichever they're...
Right.
Like, I'm old school. I handwrite it usually.
Right.
Most people are modern
I'm
technology.
computer.
They do the
Making a Word doc, yeah.
Yeah. But that's really that follow through. You just have to have good follow through.
I think my challenge, I guess you could say, is logistics. How are things going to come together? And logistics for planning a fundraiser is huge because it's really not about details. It's about timelines.
Yes.
It's like kind of like a spider web. Like if the center is your D-Day, right? Your event day, then you have all of these things that come together.
And your description is beautiful because it is like a spider web. I mean, you've got a branch that goes off here, and it's got all kinds of little branches that come off of there, and then those branches connect to these branches, which connects back to the center. That was an excellent analogy.
Yeah. That's great. And we meet a lot. You have to have the committee meetings, the planning meetings. And I think that's important. And even though people are busy, and if you're going to do an event, you think, well, I don't really want to spend the time to do all this meeting. But with the meetings I am seeing for myself it's accountability. It's Shelley, this is what you have to get done, and your meeting is coming up. And since I am the fourth quarter 2-minute warning girl, I work well under pressure. It's like, oh, holy cow. Okay, I got to go meet these people, or I got to follow up and phone calls. So, yeah. And that's it's an important part of it. So then what's the day of an event look like?
The day of the event can be any number of things. If it has been run smoothly, preparing, then it will run smoother.
Right.
You know, you're still going to have a little kink here and there. It's when the day before I got married, my event planner said to me, if something doesn't go wrong, it's not a good wedding.
Oh, well. Hey, I like that. I like that.
And I thought about that, and of course it rained during our rehearsal, and we were getting married outside.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, well, there goes our big thing. So you're going to have little kinks, but your day of hopefully will look like what I call organized chaos.
Right, yeah.
And I like the term organized chaos
Yeah.
because you've got those people that are there that know they've either got a checklist,
Right.
or they got it in their brain, or
Yeah.
they got it on the computer. They know what needs to happen, when it needs to happen.
Yeah.
And then they also know they have a contingency plan. You always have to have a contingency plan.
Like for our Taste of Iredell, we're trying to get some large tents for the parking lot because, you know, if it rains, our clubhouse can legally only support so many people at once. So, yeah, definitely, you do have to have a plan B for sure.
And we do have our contingency. We're working on our tents. But I'm going to put a plug in. If you have a 20 by 20 tent that you would be willing to loan and help us set up, we would be most appreciative for the donation and would recognize you in our program as sponsoring the tent for.
We could even maybe use two, honestly, because we have a big parking lot, and that's where we're going to do it.
And two would be great, and we have the potential for one right now. So if you have a tent and you want to call us, our number is 704-761-8208. Did I get that right?
Don't ask me, but that sounds good. Or go to www.statesvillewomen'sclub.org and hit the contact button at the top of the page.
And that's much easier.
Yeah, you can email us or you can call us.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, so what happens after the event, assuming it's run smoothly in a organized chaos sort of way and everybody had fun? What's the wrap up?
Well, the wrap up is where a lot of organizations use a phrase called SWOT.
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 Okay.
To analyze the event. And I try to do kind of a SWOT, which SWOT stands for what were my strengths, what were my weaknesses, what were my opportunities to do better.
Okay.
Not necessarily obstacles.
Right.
I try not to use the word obstacles.
Yeah.
We use the word opportunities.
Right.
And then threats. What were some of the things that interfered with success?
Gotcha.
And once you get those things analyzed, then you can go back and you can say, okay, well, we had a debriefing after the event so that it's fresh in our mind and we talked about what went well and what we could do better and that kind of thing. Then you do a final debriefing, and sometimes you just do a small committee rather than the whole committee. And you basically say, yay, we did a great job.
Celebrate.
We celebrate. And then we say, are we going to do it again?
No, we're going to go take a nap. We're taking a nap. We're going to go take a nap now.
We're going to take a nap.
And we'll maybe do it next year, something else next year or something. Yeah.
But I know that we are looking at hoping that Taste of Iredell will be so successful that it will become our signature event.
Yeah, so I have a slide, the Save the Date slide, Taste of Iredell, help us bridge the gap of homelessness. So obviously it looks like we got some beverages and a knife and fork, so there's going to be some food. And tell us a little bit more about the Taste of Iredell and what it's going to look like, Dana.
Well, Taste of Iredell, we have gone to different restaurants in the Mooresville, Troutman, Statesville mostly area. There are, I think, some caterers from a little bit further out.
Okay.
So we tried to hit all of Iredell County. Mm-hmm. We're going to have 8 to 10 food stations. Mm-hmm. We'll have at least 2 dessert stations.
Okay.
And 2 coffee stations. So we'll have just regular coffee, and then we're going to have a signature coffee.
Okay.
There will also be beer and wine and possibly
A signature cocktail?
a signature cocktail.
Oh, wow.
So
A Tommy Collins, no, I'm teasing. That was another joke.
Another joke. So we're working on the signature cocktail. And basically, you buy your ticket. They're $50 a piece per person. And you come in, you sample the different wares of the different restaurants, the drinks. There will be 1 drink ticket with your $50 ticket, and then anything else will be for purchase.
Okay. And, and then what's going to be nice, too, aren't we going to have a little bit of music, some just kind of background stuff. So it's going to be really a festive opportunity for people to, bring your friends, plan this as an event for just a night out, 6 to 9, 3 hours. That's a nice amount of time. And it's a Saturday night, so make it a Saturday date night and invite your friends and family. And also, we're going to have a little a raffle of some sort. So, and that's still kind of in the
We're still planning that.
planning stage. Yeah. So,
I just wanted to throw out, this is an adult-only event.
yes, yeah.
This is an adult.
One of these days, we're going to host a little family event, maybe like a chili. We talked about maybe doing a chili cook-off, something like that, with jump tents and that sort of thing sometime soon for family. But this is definitely events. And it's a dress up if you want to.
If you want to, that's right.
If you
really
come looking fine. That'd be great.
I think that would be really fun.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to it. So that's going to be Saturday, October 7th, 6 to 9. And once again, the tickets are $50 per person, which honestly, that's very reasonable if you look at what you're getting and the fun time that you're going to have, and the fact that it's really up to 50% of those proceeds. It is a fundraiser, folks. They're going to be donated or directed to the Bridge Academy at the YMCA, and it's a really neat program they have over there to help young folks that are experiencing some homelessness. And as we talked with Tommy Simmons, it's a way to stand in the gap for them, and help be standing in the gap, partnering with the Y. Yeah.
And speaking of partners, I've mentioned some of our financial sponsors before.
Okay.
But I would like to entice some of you with some of our restaurants. One of our restaurants that we have on board, one of our signature restaurants, is the Epic Chop House.
Oh, nice. Yum.
We don't know what they're doing. We can't wait to find out. But Epic Chop House, Cafe 220 here in Statesville, Fresh Chef. Those are our 3 finer dining restaurants. And then we have some casual restaurants.
Got Mi Pueblo.
Mi Pueblo.
Yeah, yum. Who doesn't like some Mexican food
some good
every day
Mexican?
for me?
And another more casual is the Greenbrier Grill. So those are
Nice.
just a few. We have a private caterer doing desserts. We also have the Vanilla Bean is doing one of the coffee, and Your Coffee Place in Troutman is going to do the signature coffee drink.
Oh, that's nice. Very nice. Well, thank you for going over this anatomy of a fundraiser. That was, really good information. And I think, a lot of us don't really realize what it takes to do fundraisers and do them successfully. And obviously, with you at the helm and your experience, this one's going to be successful, and it's good advice for other people that want to listen to the episode and get some tips on doing their own fundraisers.
And just to throw this out there, we do have a chairperson in charge of the event.
Yeah,
and Jennifer
yeah.
Griffith.
Yeah.
And she is doing a wonderful job.
She
and
is.
Everyone
She's our fearless
in
leader.
Statesville knows her. Mm-hmm. So if you know Jennifer, you can call her and say, I'll be happy to donate such and such and such and such.
Right.
Or do you need flowers for decorations? I mean, any donation. If you want to make a sponsorship donation, you can just email our. We need to put that up there next time.
Yeah. Well, it's on the.
It is on the
Save the Day.
Save the Day.
Yeah. So,
www.statesvillewomansclub.com.
Right, it's in the blue.
It's in blue down
on
at
the bottom. It's little, but there it is. And there's our phone number. It's 8208 761 8208.
Yep.
Yeah.
So thank you all for listening as we shared our anatomy of a fundraiser, and I hope that it helps you put together an event. And if you have any questions, feel free to call us.
Yeah. Okay, so the membership moment is next, and it's me. Oh boy. Now I'm in the hot seat.
You're in the hot seat.
No.
You're never in the hot seat. You're so
yeah.
natural at this.
I don't know.
But you have been a member since when?
2018.
2018.
Can you believe that?
I can't believe
That's
that.
5 years. My, how time has flown.
I know. I joined in 2014.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
that's awesome. So you've been here.
Yeah, it's
for
my favorite word.
I used your favorite word. I haven't heard it in a while.
Bringing you over to the awesome side.
So my first question, real question, is what attracted you to the Statesville Women's Club?
Oh, it was it wasn't attraction, it was a tractor beam. And her name is Linda Lavender. She's a tractor beam, like Star Trek, So I met her at one of my business events, and she stayed and chatted with me, and she was lovely. She was a neighbor, and she invited me. And I thanked her very nicely, and I appreciated it, and it sounded interesting, and I'm a service kind of person. And so, so I didn't go. And she invited me again to another meeting, and I said, oh, thank you. Yeah, that sounds really fun. And I didn't go. And then she kept at me, and she did all but, I'm picking you up and taking you over there. No, she didn't do that, but all but. And then I came to a couple meetings. I was like, oh, this is pretty fun. You guys, nice group of ladies, and looking for kind of like a alternative to doing outreach. And so I tell everybody that this is my church. I'm not saying it's church, but what I would do at church. And so I just see the fruit of what we do at the Women's Club really making a big difference.
I think that is key because, our theme of A Servant's Heart is women making a difference. And you have definitely stepped up and made a huge difference in this organization.
Oh, thank you.
Um,
And I can't do it by myself, and that's why I partnered with Statesville Women's Club and becoming a member, because I saw that, I can help one person easily, but I can't help a bunch of people, and the only way to do that is to partner with other like-minded individuals.
and that's exactly like our Takeout Hunger Day.
Yeah, yeah.
Neither one of us could accomplish that by ourselves.
No way, no.
But together
Yeah.
and with the rest of the women in the women's
Right.
club
Right.
and
And
partnering
community.
with
Yeah.
YOKEFELLOW
Yeah.
and the community,
Yeah.
we can make a huge difference. And so my next question was what keeps you involved, but you really kind of answered it. But do you have anything you want to add to that?
Well, it's my brain. It's kind of like what you were talking about during our anatomy of a fundraiser. It's like I get this stuff and I get this little, it's like a kernel of popcorn, and then my brain gets, percolating, and then it starts popping, and then before long it's got to come out, and it's not one kernel, it's like a whole bunch of kernels. And this gives me an opportunity to share visions, and it also gives me an opportunity to allow, I don't know, I'm just going to call it the Spirit to work through me, because I don't come up with this stuff on my own. This morning, like I said, Take Out Hunger, that just, and I tried to come up with a theme for a week or so, nothing. But that was on my own, under my own power. So that's what I like about it, is it gives the opportunity to kind of channel the love all over the place.
Well, and I kind of am going to jump on your bandwagon a little bit, because I think that is key, is that I have not met a single woman in the women's club that does not believe in sharing the love.
Yeah.
And we have a phenomenal
We do.
group of women that do extraordinary things for extraordinary and ordinary. And
I was going to say, sorry to jump
That's
in there,
okay.
but there are women that literally, like today, I need to call somebody because we have all the school supplies, and they got to go.
And they do gotta go.
And I know I can call a couple, 2 or 3, and they're right there.
Yep.
They're right there. They're going to be helping me unload, load, and yeah. And that's all. That's amazing. That there are women, and we've had so many new members join that are like-minded.
Yes. We started in September of 21 September 21 with 30 members, and we're up to 47.
Wow.
So in 2.5 years, we have added 17 members, and I know of at least one more that is thinking about joining, my goal is to get to 50 in the next month to 2 months.
That's great.
So if we could get
Yeah.
20 new members by September of 2023, that would be awesome. So back to you. You've told us what drives you. You've told us what about your visionary. And I think that, I have never met anybody that talks in analogies and metaphors like you do. And it is so beautiful. But you are an extremely dedicated, hardworking member of this organization.
Oh,
You're our
thank you.
first vice president.
I am.
And you want to tell them what you do?
Well, first vice president is in charge of programs and monthly meetings. And I also am putting together the CSTs, which aren't finalized yet. I'm kind of making the assignments. And the CST is community service teams. We kind of walked away from that for a time. We had those when I first joined, but not really not much was going on with those. And then I saw that it seems like to help everybody feel involved, that to bring the teams back. So we have 3 teams. So I'm working on that. And but that wouldn't be a first vice president responsibility. Obviously, I'm on the executive board, and I support Dana with whatever she needs.
Yes, she does.
And we have really great board members.
We have a unbelievable board.
And currently, there's a small group of us that also do the event venue rental process. Each one of us kind of has our own little thing that we do. Several of us do the same thing, like showing and contracts and that sort of thing, which with me being in real estate, that's super important. And that whole venue thing is in my wheelhouse, and I like that. And yeah, so it's mainly programs and the monthly meetings.
Right.
So.
And speaking of monthly meetings, how often do we meet?
We meet every month. Well, we have, except for in the summertime. Right. Yeah, so we're on our break right now, and we start back in September. Yeah, and we're gonna meet at your coffee place, your YCP, your coffee place.
Yeah, if you look it up on Facebook, to look up YCP, you can look up just YCP, or you can look up Your Coffee Place Troutman.
Right.
And soon we will have an event page about
and a calendar
on the website. So this is my last question, I think.
Yay.
What project or activity have you done through the Women's Club that has meant the most to you?
The most to me, I don't know if the bake sale meant the most to me, but it was a lot of fun, and I did not SWAT it. When you were talking about the SWAT, yeah, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, and, celebrate. We just celebrated because we were tired. But I really enjoyed that, and I did see my weaknesses was logistics. Sandra Landry is phenomenal at logistics. Yes. I think in another life she was probably a major sergeant or a colonel because she is, and she's amazing. Her just brain just organizes things automatically, and mine is like spaghetti. It's all over the place. So I couldn't have done it without her. And all the ladies that came and cooked, because we cooked for 3+ days and baked. And it was really kind of a wing it thing, which was not your anatomy of a fundraiser. But I just had this confidence that everything was going to come out great. Sandra and I cooked and cooked and cooked and sampled, and all my friends loved me for a time because I kept bringing samples of all my baked goods over, and I was their friend for life for a month. It was great, and I thought it was successful financially.
It was,
and it was a lot of fun, and the food was at a high quality, and that's what I wanted. It was all in bakery boxes with labels and paper on the bottom. I mean, it was high quality,
professional.
Yeah, and we were careful with sanitation and all that, and I just thought it was a lot of fun because I just love to cook anyway. So. That was because that was my hands-on. I don't think I've ever done another project where I was really hands-on in my 5 years yet. So that was kind of my baby.
I bet you learned a lot too.
I did. I'm hoping that we'll do another one, but we'll see. Okay, yeah, because everyone likes sweets, and I was like, Oreo mini cheesecakes? There are literally people that call me and say, hey, Shelley, if you're baking some, put me on your list to just drop me a half a dozen or so. I mean, those are, now it's like an icon, and it's just an Oreo cheesecake, but they were so tasty.
We actually more than tripled because I was looking at the budget last week with our treasurer, and we more than tripled what our projected goal, what we put in the budget to make, we tripled
Wow.
what we actually made. So yes, it was financially successful.
Good. And we also had chocolate dipped strawberries. And
Yes,
who knew? And if it weren't for my friend Karen Young, who was the family bakery. What was the name of that? That was downtown. Well,
Tastefully simple.
no, back Farmhouse Bakery. I
I
think.
don't know that one.
Anyways, Karen Young, my friend, her family had a bakery, longtime bakery downtown on Broad Street. So when I was planning the items, I called her and I said, so for Valentine's Day, what in the world was your best seller? And then we talked about all these different things and getting recipes, and then she said, the chocolate dipped strawberries were crazy big sellers, and sure enough,
We ran out.
We did, and we sold more chocolate dipped strawberries than anything, and they were beautiful.
Yes, and just to throw this out too, we did it for Valentine's Day. I don't know if we mentioned
It's my
that.
birthday.
So we
every year.
we get to celebrate her birthday by having a bake sale.
I was
every year.
exhausted for my birthday. I was exhausted.
Well,
But that was okay. Just having it done and completed and successful was a good gift for me.
it was a great project and a good gift for the organization. Thank you, Shelley,
Thank
so
you,
much.
Dina.
This has been so. We
Oh my
always have
gosh.
such a good time when we do this.
I love the podcast.
This is so much fun. I don't know what I'm going to do when February gets here and we don't have one.
Oh, we might have to put it in the budget.
We might just have to add that to the budget. We'll see.
All right.
But thank you all for attending and watching and listening to our podcast, A Servant's Heart. Please look for us on Facebook, and soon on our website. We will be adding them to our website.
Instagram, Twitter.
Oh, that's right. We are on Instagram
What?
and Twitter now. Woo! We have moved on up. So thank you again.
All right. Have a great evening.
You've been listening to A Servant's Heart, sponsored by the Statesville Women's Club. We are located at 515 West End Avenue, Statesville. To contact us, you can email us at statesvillewomansclub@gmail.com or call 704-761-8208. Our website is statesvillewomansclub.org. Remember, that's Statesville Women's Club with an A.org.